Good morning, everybody. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss with another video for you. Closing in on 600 subscribers since I started this channel about 6 weeks ago. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so and hit the notification button so you're made aware when more videos are added, which are added constantly. Today, I wanted to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers and try to decipher whether Devonta Smith has ascended above A.J. Brown in terms of being the #1 receiver in this offense. Now, certainly at the beginning of the year, this would have been a laughable comment when A.J. Brown came out and put up 25 fantasy points, 155 yards in week 1, and Devonta Smith was shut out on 4 targets, failed to make a single catch in the opener against the Detroit Lions. But since then, in the subsequent 4 games, Devonta Smith has outscored A.J. Brown in fantasy points in 3 out of those 4 games. So week 2 against Minnesota, A.J. Brown, 11 fantasy points to 15 for Devonta Smith. Against Washington on September 25th, A.J. Brown, 19 to 30 for Devonta Smith. October 2nd against Jacksonville, 14 for A.J. Brown, 4 for Devonta Smith. So a bad game for Smith there. But then last week, A.J. Brown's only 6 fantasy points against Arizona to 18 for Devonta Smith. So 3 out of 5 games, Devonta Smith has outperformed A.J. Brown. And for the season, 353 yards for Smith, 436 for Brown. So that certainly Brown has the advantage there. They each have 28 receptions. Brown, 45 targets, and Smith, 38, and each has a receiving touchdown. So, on the surface, A.J. Brown is still outproducing Devonta Smith, but that week 1 game by Brown certainly carries a lot of heft for him because it was such an unbelievable game, 10 catches for 155 yards, that it kind of skews the numbers a little bit. And there's no denying the fact that Smith has been the more productive of the two over the last, 4 games. So, so the question does deserve to be asked as we head to this Dallas Cowboys game on Sunday night. Is Smith now the #1 target in this offense? What I will say about this is that, and what's sort of a surprise to me and many in the industry, is that the Eagles have passed the ball a lot more than anticipated. There was a thought coming in, especially how run heavy they were last year when they played their best ball and made the playoffs, that the Eagles would go back to that mode of offensive operation. But the trade for A.J. Brown in the offseason perhaps signaled that they were going to open things up, and they certainly have. So Jalen Hurts has thrown over 30 passes in 4 out of 5 games. So that is a very good number to sustain not only Devonta Smith, but A.J. Brown. Now, Dallas Goedert is a factor. He is the wild card in this. Dallas Goedert is getting a lot of targets himself. He's having a tremendous season. But really, it's just those 3 that are in the target tree for Jalen Hurts. Now, we all know Jalen Hurts likes to call his own number in the red zone, and that is a factor in the low touchdown production so far for both A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. But overall, I think both guys are going to continue to be very good. The problem is, we very well could be looking at a situation where one of them goes off each week and the other one plays a subservient role, a secondary role. That has been certainly the case this season, where both guys, it's either one or the other. Very rarely have both of them had big weeks. And I think that, unfortunately, will be a little bit of a frustration for both. But, when it comes to A.J. Brown, this is his modus operandi anyway, just like Mike Williams with the Los Angeles Chargers. Brown, throughout his tenure with the Tennessee Titans, runs hot and cold. He has a huge game. Next week, he has a dud. Devonta Smith, to this point, is sort of goes along that same trajectory as well. So I think projecting both as wide receiver ones may not, certainly doesn't look like the smart call. I think both are high-end wide receiver 2s. And for Devonta Smith to be a high-end wide receiver 2, that is a very good thing for his fantasy value because he was a mid-round draft choice. For A.J. Brown, we were projecting wide receiver 1 numbers, so high-end wide receiver 2 is a disappointment for him since he was a second-round pick in most leagues. But overall, I think both guys are going to be fine. Dallas Goedert's having a tremendous season. This offense is really humming. It's doing great. Everybody, all the key players on this team are really coming through with points. And again, with A.J. Brown, it's just slight disappointment because he was drafted so high and has not really reached those wide receiver numbers consistently. This season, only one game that was really tremendous. 2 games over 15 points out of 5 is not horrible. But again, I think we expected just a little bit more. But anyway, hit that subscribe, hit that notification button if you haven't done so already. More videos on the way.